Hello there, and welcome back into the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast, where we show you how to grow your business on social media through relationship building and connecting with your dream customers. Today, I'm going to talk to you about one of my absolute favorite topics, and this is going to be a power session. We're going to be really quick with this one. But one of my favorite things to teach is how to provide value. This is how to show up on social media in a way that is value adding to your ideal customer. This is kind of what we like to call dating our customer. And it's a very, very important concept because what we see most people doing wrong when they show up on social media is to make it all about what they want. In other words, here's my product, buy it from me. Here's my business, book with me. And that's very self-focused. It's also very typical for the way that majority of business people show up on social media. But what we know to be true is that success actually comes with showing up for the customer first, providing value first, serving first. And I want to give you 3 hot tips today, 3 really simple and easy ways to provide value instantly. And these are things that you can do both online and offline. They don't require you to be discounting. So when I say value, to be really clear, I'm not talking about giving things away or providing discounts. I'm talking about providing value online that makes people feel like they matter. In other words, how to provide content on social media that people, your ideal customers, simply cannot turn away from. So I know you all want to get their undivided attention. How do you do that really quickly, really easily? Well, let's dive on in. I'm going to give you 3 simple, quick, easy ways to do this, no matter where you're at, no matter what your experience, and no matter how big your business currently is. So let's dive on into it. Okay, so these 3 quick tips on how to provide value instantly. I just want to be really mindful when I tell you about these, not to overthink them. I know what a lot of people tend to do is spend so much time contemplating getting things perfect that they never actually trial or test anything. And one of the best things that you can do when it comes to connecting with your ideal audience is actually learn from them. Put things out there and see what resonates, what works, how you can really build that relationship and click with them online. And a lot of that will actually come from trialing and testing. Another really clever thing that you can do as well is when you get to know your audience a little bit better, and I highly recommend that this is something you do. We've got loads of training on this. Get really clear on who your target customer is. Know them intimately, inside and out, because when you get to know maybe what some of the other brands or businesses or organizations are that they follow, you can actually get onto social media and check some of those pages out, see how they provide value and get the attention of the very same customers you want to get attention of. So just remember, don't reinvent the wheel. Someone else has already done that. But what I do want you to do is put your voice, your personality, your passion, your energy, and your flavor into all of this. We need to build your social media recipe, and that will be different to anybody else's. But it doesn't mean that you can't take a lead and ideas from other people as well. So, tip number 1 when it comes to providing value instantly is to address common values, interests, and challenges. Now, if you've ever heard one of our trainings on how to identify your dream customer, we talk about the 2 golden questions. These are 2 key questions you should always be asking yourself constantly about your dream customer. And this is something you're always learning, by the way. But those 2 questions are, number 1, what keeps them up at night, which means what problems in life do they want to solve? What bothers them, frustrates them, upsets them, what challenges them. The other question is, what gets them up in the morning? Which means, what do they value? What do they love? What excites them? What do they look forward to? What do they aspire to? What matters to them? So when you identify these 2 questions, when it comes to adding value, we're not talking about giving things away. We're not talking about giving discounts. I want you to completely put that to the side. We're talking about providing value by way of what they care about and showing up where they're at. So one of the easiest ways to provide value is to talk about things they care about, which might mean things they value. It might mean challenges that they face or problems that they want to solve. Now, be really aware here, I didn't say solve the problem. I just mean talk about them or resonate with them. For example, if you happen to be a mum who is going through teenage challenges and you know that your ideal customer is also going through similar challenges, one of the things you could talk about that would be providing value would be to share a couple of experiences that you've had in that space. Talk about a common challenge. Maybe it is something that you value. For example, I'm a novice house planter. I love houseplants, but I really don't have much of a clue as to what I'm doing. But I've learned a few things along the way. So if I knew that my target customer was someone who is similar to me that doesn't know a whole lot, but, is kind of like a learning green thumb, well, in that case, I could put up some posts about a couple of the things I've learned along the way, a couple of little tips. It might even be, talking about an experience I've had, learning something the wrong way, perhaps, but just sharing something of interest that's a common interest we share. So just keep that in mind. What challenges do they have? What problems do they want to solve? And what do they value? And how can you make that a conversation point? So this might be simply talking about things. It could be sharing an article about one of those things you've identified, a challenge or problem or a value, or a trend that you know that they're also fascinated by. It might be how-tos, tips, tricks, and hacks that you've learned along the way or you find. So it may just be in your best interest to be an avid researcher in this space. So you can always be providing value. And did you knows? So it might simply be just providing knowledge. Knowledge is so underrated, guys. It's so incredibly powerful. And when you share your knowledge with people willingly, which is what we do on this podcast, and you are out to serve first, I guarantee you that what you need will come back to you. So that's the first one is, talking about or addressing common values, interests, and challenges. The second one leads on from this, and this is one of my favorite ways to provide value instantly, and it's what we call a lead magnet. Now, we actually have a 3-day mini course we often do for direct selling companies where we take their field on a journey of how to actually build this system. But I'm going to give you a really quick rundown of what a lead magnet is. And any of you can do this at any time. So a lead magnet is simply where you dangle a carrot, something that your ideal customer would see as valuable to them, and I'll explain a little bit about what that is in a moment, in exchange for an interaction. So a lead magnet could simply be a cheat sheet, a download like a recipe, a how-to guide, a video how-to. It could be a walkthrough, it could be a coaching call, a one-on-one session, an online webinar training or walkthrough. I saw, Grace from Thermomix just a week or so ago did a Christmas pierogi cooking session. I don't even know if I said that right. It doesn't sound right without her beautiful accent, but just sharing simple things like tutorials and walkthroughs of something that you are passionate about, that you're great at, or that you love to do, that your audience would see some value in. So a lead magnet is something of value that you create, and it could be simply a downloadable cheat sheet of some sort, or your time in some way, shape, or form. Or even a competition could also be a lead magnet where, you're giving something away in exchange. In other words, interact and you get an entry in the draw to win whatever it is. Now, the important thing about a lead magnet is you don't simply give it away on social media. What you're actually doing is you're dangling the carrot and you're asking for something in return. If you get the lead magnet right, the in return part will happen easily, quickly, and will grow your database really super fast, or your following. So what's really important to do with a lead magnet is to ask for something really simple. So for example, we will often do this by way of cheat sheets, and our cheat sheets for us will often be something like, 50 lead magnet ideas, which in fact we might be able to offer with this podcast. So we might throw that one in the show notes so you can actually grab that cheat sheet yourself and see how we do this process. But what we do is we'll say to people, to receive the cheat sheet, you either need to click on a link and provide your email address. So we're we're growing our database. Or alternatively, it might be that they've got a comment on a post. So the post we might put up and say, hey, who wants this cheat sheet? Super happy to share it. Who wants this recipe? This is what I love about this recipe, or here's a picture of the recipe I just created. If anyone wants it, let me know. And then you simply tell people to comment on the post. That's an interaction. And what that will do is two things. The first thing it will do is grow your engagement on Facebook or Instagram. And so you're getting more engagement, therefore more reach, which is great. But the thing that's more important than that is you can actually respond back to everybody who comments and interact with them further. And it's really important. This is actually the last of my 3 points here, is it's critically important to show people that you've noticed them and take the opportunity to build the relationship. And that's my last way to add value instantly, is to relate, entertain, and acknowledge. And the thing is that the magic of successful social media isn't in the post. It's in what happens after you put the post up. Do you know, you could have absolutely no interaction on your page whatsoever and still be a super successful direct seller on social media, because your focus is on the individual. And I want you to focus on the one, not the many, because the one will eventually turn into many when you get this right. So what I mean by this is, when I say relate, entertain, and acknowledge, is if someone comments on a post, first and foremost, you want to respond back. You want to interact back. And where you can, ask another question. So if you say to somebody, hey, I've got this, how-to cheat sheet on how to create do-it-yourself chalk paint for the kids, which was one we actually did a while ago, and it was hugely successful. And we just said, tell us below what's your favorite holiday activity to do with the kids, or we asked a little random question. And when someone responds back, it then gives you the opportunity to not only acknowledge their response with a like, but to respond back maybe with another question, getting to know them just a little bit better. Now, when you do this, people don't remember what you said, but they will remember how you made them feel. And what's really interesting is it's actually been proven that every time anyone gets a like on a comment or a response to their comment, there's actually that little, when they get that notification pop through, there's a little release or a little hit of dopamine, that feel-good chemical that comes from the brain. And people remember that. And this is really important to understand, is that people are actually looking to be acknowledged and noticed. And I want to really encourage you, make sure that people feel like they're not a number. We tend to be so focused on just having loads of followers and loads of interactions that we forget the most important part of growing our business, which is to focus on the individuals. And you don't want to miss somebody that might have been an absolute perfect customer for you. Maybe, a core team member that you overlooked because you were so focused on getting 100 followers than paying attention to the one that started following you at the beginning. So when someone starts interacting, when people start to like your posts or comment on your posts, make sure that you are interacting back. I also just want to remind you of this. People want to know that they matter. And so when you see them doing things on your posts, it's your chance as well to get to know them a little bit better. Take the time, if you happen to be friends with those people and you can see their profiles, or if they've got public profiles, check them out. Get to know them a little bit, not in a creepy way, but in a I actually care kind of a way. And use that as an opportunity to interact back. A profile picture can tell 1,000 words. I actually, when I leave voice notes for people, I like to leave voice notes for people that comment on our posts sometimes. It's a really good way to show them that I'm actually interacting with them personally. I use their name, etc. But one of the first things I'll always do is look at their profile picture. And, they might be cuddling a koala, or, with their 3 beautiful kids, or, with Mickey Mouse ears on or something. And it's always a start of a conversation. It's a question you can ask. Hey, I just saw you've got the Mickey Mouse ears on in your profile picture. Have you recently been to Disney? We went to Disney this year. Whereabouts were you? Or, hey, your kids are absolutely gorgeous. How old are they? I've got a daughter who's 8, similar age. And so you're relating and acknowledging and engaging with them straight away. So just pay attention to the little things. It is absolutely the easiest way to provide value quickly and easily, is just to notice the one. focus on the one. So a profile picture will tell you a lot. Also, if you can see their profile, it tells you loads. Just remember, sometimes it's about getting out of your page and getting into someone else's world and paying attention to that first before you reap the benefits of that. Now, I want to give you a really quick little bonus tip here. I am a big gift giver. I love giving gifts, and you guys might have heard me talk about this a lot because I love the 5 love languages. If you haven't read that book by Gary Chapman, it's a no-brainer. It will help you not only in your personal relationships, but also in your friendships and your business relationships too. Any customer, once you get good at this, you'll actually be able to identify their love language very, very quickly. The reason I bring this up is my 2 top love languages are acts of service and gifts. They kind of go hand in hand for me. And so because of that, I love to gift other people as well. And if you're a little bit like me and you love to give gifts, but you got to kind of do it on a budget. So it's, it's another way of providing value to people. I've actually got some clever ways of gift giving that maybe you don't think about because it doesn't seem obvious on the outside. So just a couple of things with that. The first is gifting doesn't have to be physical. It can be, and I'm going to give you a couple of physical ideas in a sec, but giving a gift actually could be an encouraging word. Do you know, if you think back on the gifts that you've received, they're usually those that come with a word of encouragement or a beautifully handwritten card where someone said something really meaningful to you. And the gift is often actually in the delivery and the words more so than the gift itself. So one way that you can give a gift to somebody and provide instant value to them is actually to provide a word of encouragement. Now, you can't really go wrong with this at the end of the day, even if you don't know a whole lot about them. Sometimes it's just speaking from the heart. So giving a gift by words of encouragement, a compliment is massive, and that will make someone's day. It will also make you stand out as well because it's such a rare thing these days, especially from a stranger, or someone that you don't know all that well. So if you want to stand out, it's a good way to go. Another way to gift give that's relatively inexpensive and super easy to do, and I am such a big fan of this, and I'll just show you if you happen to be watching the video version, but I always keep on my desk some gift cards. So if I ever see, plain gift cards anywhere that have got, blank middles or just a really nice little message on the inside, I'll just stock up on them, and I keep them in my bag all of the time. I also keep them on my desk. And what I love to do is when someone's on my mind or they pop up on my feed somewhere and I just want to do something nice for them, I will handwrite a card just to show them that they matter. This is something we've taught and we spend time doing inside of our Rise Up Inner Circle group often, and is probably one of the most powerful business activities for many of the women in that group, simply because by doing that activity, it's not only going to make that person feel amazing, it's going to make you stand out because, let's face it, who gets anything in the mail anymore? But it also has an impact on you. When you're grateful for someone else, when you encourage someone else, when you, gift someone else, it's also going to lift you up subsequently. It's just how it works. And so if it builds you up, it's all good, even if that person never, ever responds. The last little hot tip for gift giving on a budget is also a really fun one, and that is simply on gifting. So a book is a really good example of this. If you've just recently read a book that you really enjoyed, why not put it out there on social media and say, hey, I want to on gift this to somebody else who'd like to read it. Just let me know below and I'll send it out to you. Or simply reach out to someone in particular that you think would really enjoy it, maybe a customer or someone you'd like to become a customer, and say, hey, I just finished reading Atomic Habits by James Clear. I think you'd love this book. Here's why. And I'd love to gift it to you. If you want to flick me your mailing address, I'll pop it in the post for you. It's another really great way of not spending extra money, but doing something that's heartfelt and unique. So that is a really quick verbal dump for you on some ways to add value instantly. Remember, it's not about overthinking. It's about meeting your ideal customer, your dream customer, where they're at. It's about providing value first and serving first. The rest does tend to take care of itself because, let's face it, this is a relationship building industry. And when you focus on providing value on social media first, rather than selling first, you're actually going to sell a whole heck of a lot faster. So That's it from me today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to seeing you again on the podcast next week. Don't forget as well that we have an amazing free group on social media you can join for more social media updates, tips, and tricks called Social Media for Direct Sellers with Greg and Sam. Feel free to jump in and join us in that group. We would love to see you in there. We've got some fun stuff coming up in the next few months as well. Some free workshops you can be a part of just by being a part of that group. So make sure you jump in and join there if you're not in there already. And if you are, invite a friend. It's a really great way to, take your business to the next level in this industry and meet with another community of amazing like-minded individuals. But that's it from me today. I'll pop the link in the show notes for our favorite lead magnet ideas. But have an amazing, amazing rest of your week, and we'll see you on the podcast next week. Bye for now. Thank you for joining us in this episode of the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. If you love listening and you found that this was helpful for your direct selling business, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also check out the recommended video that's popped up on your screen right here. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.